Supplemental math videos from Circle Christian School. Trig ratios, the measurement of a right triangle. Trigonometry. Have one side, one non-special angle. Trig it. This is what we do when we have to find the height of a tree. Remember to always have your calculator in degree mode. The important thing here is to remember to always set your triangle up using the trig hand of life. Each figure is totally a step in how you're going to use the trig, with the fourth and fifth finger being how you're going to use the trig. Remember to always make a target. That's the first thing you do. The target angle, the theta angle, the angle that you're going to deal with. Next, identify your hypotenuse, your opposite, your adjacent, your HOA. Then you're going to pick your trig. Do you want to use sine, cosine, tangent? Now we're ready to use the math. This is to find a side measurement. Anytime you're looking for a side measurement, that if the x, or what you don't know, is in the numerator, you are going to multiply the number by the trig. If the x, the unknown, is in the denominator, you're going to take the number and divide by the trig. Sometimes we have the sides, but we don't have the degree of the angles. So anytime that you're looking for the degree of the angle, this is when you're going to use the second key. That's your shift key, second key, and then the trig. Whether it's going to be sine, cosine, or tangent, whatever you had done, which is going to do that -1. It's going to do the reciprocal. It's the little inversey thing. Well, it's not the reciprocal, it's the inversey thing. Now we're going to go find angles. In this case, we're going to actually have our sides. So I'm going to start with a hypotenuse of 5 and one of the sides that's 4. And you may recognize that this is one of these really cool, hey, 3, 4, 5s. As long as the hypotenuse is 5 and one of them is 3 and 4, we got a special 3, 4, and 5. We want to find the measurement of the angles. We still have to use the 5 fingers. The difference here is instead of using finger number 4, which is to find sides, we're going to use our pinky to go find angles. You still have to make a target. Pick either angle, but I'm going to go with the one that has the cute little theta on it. Next, we have to use our index, identify, hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent. Make sure you've got those 3 letters there. Makes all the world of difference. And then you have to figure out which trig you want to use. Because you have all 3 sides here, you can use either sine, cosine, or tangent. We'll just start with the most basic. Let's just start with sine. We don't have an angle this time. That's what we're looking for. And because what we're doing is looking for an angle, we're going to use that little inverse button. And it equals O over H. Okay, O is 3, H is 5. So in our calculator, what we're going to do is hit the second key and then sine, because up above you notice it has that -1 there. So what we want is actually the guy up above. And then we're just going to put the fraction in, 3 over 5, or 3 divided by 5. And we find that our target angle is 36.9. Just kind of round it off there. And we find the other angle by taking the 36.9 and subtracting it from the 90. Or if you're real clever, just go minus 90. I know it gives you a negative, but you know an angle can't be a negative. It just ends up that way. And we end up with the 53.1. And now we have all our sides and all our angles. Let's try another one here where, for instance, let's say we have a side that's 5, another one that's 12, and we want to go find the angles. This happens to be another one of those Pythagorean triples, but if it wasn't, you could just do the a squared plus b squared equals c squared, two sides, Pythagit, and we know it's a 13. Cool. Follow the hand, the trig hand of life. Make a target. Identify hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. Very good. Figure out which trig you want. Oh, just for kicks and giggles here, let's try cosine. Theta, which means we're going to do the -1 thing because we don't have an angle. Happens to be the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So adjacent is 5, hypotenuse is 13. Take our handy dandy little calculator, and again, finding angles is the top part. Second, cosine, because that's the -1. And then the 5 divided by the 13. Second, cosine, 5 divided by 13 gives us 67.4. I'm going to subtract that from the 90 because that's the other angle, and we get a 22.6. Did you ever know anything as simple as playing with trig? Here's the words of warning. If you don't use the trig hand of life, you'll be sad. Thumb, target. Index finger, identify. Middle finger, trig. Fourth finger for finding sides. Fifth finger for finding angles. You got it, made in the shade.